What is going on, fight fans? So you've asked for it, and I'm here to deliver a tier list of the top 10 pound-for-pound fighters in the world, according to Boxing Fanatico. Now, I've gone through a few other tiers. I've seen other top 10s out there. The Sports Illustrated, the Ring Magazine, the Zone's pound-for-pound top 10, ESPN's pound-for-pound top 10, and a few of the content creators out there, their top 10s as well. I'm not sure if I agree with so much of the mainstream media's top 10, like the ESPN's, the Ring Magazine ones. I think mine is going to look a little bit different. I'm going to explain my criteria before I start showing the top or start putting the tier list together in terms of who's the best to the who's not the best, but still amazing in a world of thousands and thousands of pro boxers. These are the top 10. So even if you make it to number 10 in this list, it is still an amazing achievement. This means that you're in the 1%, the top 1% of eliteness in the sport. But one thing that's important to me is quality of opponent, but also if you have the ability to become undisputed. To me, that is incredibly important, because even if the person is not popular to the casual market or to half of the diehard market, it doesn't matter, because you've won all of the titles in your division that were world titles in the 4-belt era, meaning all 4 belts. You have to be really good, especially since it isn't a lot of people there aren't a lot of people who have done it. So that's a big thing to be undisputed. It's very, very difficult to do. That means there's no one better than you in the world, and there isn't a doubt because you carry all of the titles. So being undisputed is always going to be a big plus for me. But if you beat someone who was undisputed, that's also a big plus for me as well, because at the end of the day, my list is really based on a mythical, theoretical matchup where can the person who's in whatever position they are in beat everyone else below them. That's really one of the biggest factors for it. But accomplishments can get you above, even if I think that person above you could beat you. Accomplishments, or even if I think there's a person below you that could beat you, accomplishments have to be respected. They have to be respected. So I'll give you an edge if you have a good accomplishment. There's a good accomplishment there. But we're going to go ahead and see, and let's put this list together. Without any further ado, let's jump right into it. All right, here we are. Now, for those of you who've done quick math, you'll notice that on the bottom, I have over 14 different people. And this is because I'm kind of putting together the list that people mostly put together. And I'm going to, they'll be mentioned, but they'll be right here in missed the cut. They didn't make the cut. That's what's going to, that's where we're going to have them over here. All right, so let's start off with Shakur Stevenson. Now, I have Shakur Stevenson here as number... This was a tough one because I might switch this up. I will go ahead and say that Shakur Stevenson is number 6. I'm going to have Shakur Stevenson at number 6. And the reason I have Shakur Stevenson at number 6 is because Shakur Stevenson is a multi-divisional champion with a whole lot of skills. And although people may gaslight you to believe he hasn't fought anybody, no, he has. He's fought a lot of somebodies. I mean, he beat Jermell Charlo. He beat Oscar Valdez. You have to understand, a win over Oscar Valdez, an undefeated WBC champion, is huge, considering that Oscar Valdez upset Miguel Berchelt, who was considered the best in the division. So you basically killed 2 birds with 1 stone without even having to fight Miguel Berchelt. But even to top it off, Shakur Stevenson beat Robson Conceição, who gave Oscar Valdez a lot of trouble before he fought Shakur Stevenson. So Oscar Valdez, it was argued that he lost that fight, and Shakur cleaned even that up. And Robson Fonseca is an Olympic gold medalist, medaling gold at the same Olympics that Shakur Stevenson medaled silver, which is another big point to put him here. He is the first American to make silver, or to get a silver medal in so many years. That is the highest medal that we as Americans have earned since Andre Ward back in 2004 in Athens. And that is something that you cannot overlook. And those skills transferring from amateurs to pros have been, he's done it in an astonishing way, where he's looked dominant in all of his fights, which is another thing that matters for this list, because as we said, this is just a mythical list where we're trying to see, can this person beat the other person? Now, I believe that when it's all said and done, Shakur may end up being the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world in the future, because I feel he has a high skill ceiling. However, accomplishments matter. So we're going to respect the accomplishments of other fighters, but being a multi-divisional world champion, not winning the regular belt, winning the official belt, is very powerful. And he's moving into trying to win another belt in another division as we speak. Now, let's go ahead and move on to Dmitry Bivol. Now, Dmitry Bivol, I have at number, where we're going to put him at? Number 4, right? Dmitry Bivol, number 4. Now, Dmitry Bivol does not have a bunch of different division wins, right? But he's undefeated. And not only is he undefeated, he's beaten people like Joe Smith, which Joe Smith was, he's knocked people out. He's trouble for anybody, because even if you bring skills to the table, like even what Bernard Hopkins did, that power from Joe Smith Jr. is just difficult to deal with. But Dmitry Bivol was able to beat him. And he's beaten other notable fighters, but one of the most notable fighters that he's beaten, that's a big deal in my opinion, which is what has him on this list, is he beat Canelo Alvarez. And that matters because Canelo has fought them all. He's fought Miguel Cotto. He's fought Floyd Mayweather. He's fought Sugar Shane Mosley, right? He's fought them all. And he always came out on top, other than, of course, Floyd Mayweather. And he's even fought Caleb Plant and defeated him in spectacular fashion. So for Bivol to not knock him out, but outsmart him, to me is very powerful and gives you a big tell into where his skill set lies. Also, he is the least, I believe, the least hit in the entire boxing landscape according to CompuBox numbers. Shakur Stevenson is number 2, but Bivol is hit less. He has a better plus minus record than everyone right now in terms of CompuBox numbers, in terms of being hit. Which means he's skills upon skills upon skills, but also beating Canelo is a big deal. And that's what has put him from not being on my list before to being on number 4. Now let's look at Artur Beterbiev. Artur Beterbiev missed the cut. Yes, Artur Beterbiev missed the cut. And now I understand, guys. I understand. I get it. I know what you're going to say, but you got Dmitry Bivol at number 4. Why would you not make it? Because Dmitry Bivol beat Canelo, right? He beat Canelo. And I don't want to hear, but he was bigger. That's the reason why he didn't. Listen, Kovalev was his size and got knocked out by Canelo Alvarez. It isn't about size. He didn't use his size to beat Canelo. He didn't put his weight on him. He didn't knock him out. He outboxed him. So for Dmitry Bivol to beat Canelo is telling. And yes, I am predicting that Dmitry Bivol would beat Artur Beterbiev if they fought. Now, Artur Beterbiev has captured 3 world titles, and a fight with Dmitry Bivol will be for undisputed, but he hasn't become undisputed yet. Neither of these two have. The only thing that got Dmitry here over Artur Beterbiev to be even on the list is that he beat Canelo Alvarez. Had he not done that, he wouldn't be on the list. So for Dmitry Bivol to just capture 3 world titles is not enough, because the competition, the level of competition is not that big of a deal until he fights Dmitry Bivol. If he beats Dmitry Bivol, I can bet you he'll definitely replace him here. But I do have Dmitry Bivol outboxing Artur Beterbiev when they fight as a prediction, if they ever fight. Are you guys going to fight? Because what's going on? We want that fight. But if they ever fight, that's where I would have them. So unfortunately, just winning 3 belts in one division that's not that packed in terms of killers is not enough to put you on the list. And I know he beat Anthony Yarde, but it's still not enough for me to put you on the list. Not in front of all these other guys that I'm going to put in the top 10. All right, now let's go to Canelo Alvarez. Where do I have Canelo Alvarez? Where do you think I'm gonna put him? Psych, I got him number 8. Yes, I got him number 8. And this is one where I completely disagree with a lot of the media out there, a lot of the news media out there. They have Canelo at number 3 or even number 2. Like, they're doing crazy stuff out here with these news media. They got him on weird spots. Number 1, Bivol beat Canelo. You can't have Canelo above Bivol because he proved that he can outskill Canelo. So if he proved that, then this list is invalidated if you have him above Bivol. I don't take popularity into account. I'm only taking skills. If the weights were the same, who would win? And power is a thing. Like, if somebody can knock you out, you know, that's a big thing. Yeah, he might win because he can knock you out. But skills is important here. Skills is important here. And in my opinion, Canelo losing to Bivol knocked him down a lot, because that means that he could be outboxed if somebody has a good skill set. So I don't think that Canelo is all the way up here. And also, he's had fights where they've been very difficult, right? His fight with Errol Lara, he was almost outboxed there, and the fight could have gone either way. He was outboxed by Floyd Mayweather Jr. He was outboxed by Dmitry Bivol. He was somewhat outboxed by Gennady Golovkin in their first fight. So Canelo, he has a lot of talented, exceptional athleticism, smart tactics, good upper body movement, but he lacks in terms of his legs, in terms of his movements, his lateral movement, his distance control. He doesn't have the, which is why he has great upper body movement, because it helps to overcome the fact that he can't move around so effectively. And that has come back to bite him with people who are skilled, who can box. So I think that with things being the same, I think I could see a Shakur Stevenson outboxing a Canelo and a Dmitry Bivol outboxing a Canelo Alvarez. Now, Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo goes to number 10. Now, one of the big reasons why he's on here, like I said, he is undisputed at 154. Being undisputed is super powerful. I don't care if you don't know who the fighters are. That's not what matters. These are the number 1 guys in the entire division, and you're cleaning house. Now, granted, did he lose a fight? Yes, but he avenged that fight in spectacular fashion. Did he get a draw? Yes, but he avenged that draw in spectacular fashion and became undisputed. So that's, to me, is super powerful. Had Canelo fought Dmitry Bivol again and avenged that loss in spectacular fashion, he definitely would have been above Dmitry Bivol, probably in this spot right here. I can't put him above any of the people that I'm going to put 1, 2, and 3, but probably in this spot. He has not done that, so that is still the question mark. And it didn't look like he had a chance against Dmitry Bivol. They did it again. The only reason it was close was probably because of his star power. So to me, Jermell Charlo cleaned all of his losses and his draws up, while Canelo only cleaned up 1 draw and none of his losses. So I have Jermell Charlo here. Obviously, I have Canelo above him because it's not just about their accomplishments. Like I've said, it's about, do I think this person can beat this person if they were to fight? Theoretically, if they were to fight. And I do think Canelo would get the better of Jermell. We're actually going to find out in September, since they're both going to fight. Now, if Jermell beats him, Jermell will leapfrog over Canelo Alvarez 100%. Probably go up a bit higher because that will be a major accomplishment, especially from coming 2 divisions below Canelo Alvarez. All right, now we got Tank Davis, another person that has baffled me with news media because people put him on the list. I get it. He's popular. He makes a lot of money. He sells a lot of pay-per-views. But guess what? That doesn't matter to me. That doesn't matter to me. And the reason it doesn't matter to me is simple. He's won a world title in a division, but now in the division of 135, he has the WBA regular belt. He has the regular belt. And he doesn't care to fight for any official world titles. In my opinion, is he the GOAT right now in terms of making money? Probably, yes. He's number 1 pound for pound in terms of selling out arenas and making money, yes. And maybe in terms of excitement, number 1 pound for pound. I'll give it to you. But I'm building a list of who I think is the best. And unfortunately, Tank Davis hasn't shown to me that he's the best. Beating Ryan Garcia is not enough to get you on the list. It's enough to get you popular, not enough to get you on the list. Now, he's had trouble with the likes of a Rolly Romero in those fights, even though he got the knockout in amazing fashion. But he was getting rocked, and it was a little bit of a Rolly Romero fight before it ended with that spectacular knockout. And those things don't bode well for how he would do if he stepped up to the world championship level competition where he's fighting the likes of a Devin Haney, or he's fighting the likes of Lomachenko or a Shakur Stevenson. Those things are important to me. All right, now we have Devin Haney. Where does Devin Haney lie on this list? 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7. Number 7. Now, the reason I have him number 7 is because he's undisputed. But he only did it in 1 division. So he's only done 1 division in his entire career. Now, he's going to move up to 140. We're going to see what he does at 140. If he does really well at 140, then well, we got something to talk about, right? We can move him up. But if he doesn't do well at 140, he's going to be probably at number 7, or if nothing was to change right now, he's number 7. Shakur Stevenson, although he hasn't become undisputed, he has won in multiple divisions, and he has the added edge that I believe if they were to fight, he would win. I think he has more tools in the toolbox. Devin Haney has an amazing jab, but so does Shakur Stevenson. And then Shakur Stevenson has good punch placement, good combinations, laser pinpoint accuracy, an incredible plus minus on CompuBox numbers, an ability to control distance better than probably anyone in the sport right now. I think Shakur has more than Devin Haney, and that gave him the edge to be above Devin Haney, because if we were to put this together, I think that he can beat everyone that is below him. And that is the point. That is the point of this pound for pound list, in my opinion. All right. Now we have Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. will move to number 9, just above Jermell Charlo. So he didn't miss the cut because he lost to Terence Crawford. He made the cut. However, I had him higher before. He's lower now. And the reason he is lower is because he lost in a devastating way to Terence Crawford, in a mauling by Terence Crawford, which is, it doesn't bode well for how he would match up with other fighters. If someone is super elite, can they do that to him as well? I think of this entire list, he probably could only beat Jermell Charlo of this entire list if weight was the same, if there wasn't a weight advantage. You got to remember that, guys. It's not like, wait a second, if you was to put him against Devin Haney, he's so big, he'll destroy them. It's not about the weight. I'm talking about if weight was the same. I can't take him off just because he lost either, because he beat the likes of a Danny Garcia, of a Sean Porter, of an Ugas, right? He's beaten really good fighters. So because he's beaten really good fighters and captured belts, 3 world titles in a really stacked division, one of the hardest divisions historically at 147, the welterweight division, you gotta give it to him. He just lost to probably the best fighter in the world, and someone where you can argue is in the top 20, 30, 40 of best boxers of all time. So there's no knock on him. Just like Canelo losing to Mayweather, there's no knock on him for losing to Floyd Mayweather. That doesn't bump you too low because it's Floyd, and losing to Crawford doesn't bump you too low because it's Crawford. And it's in the same vein. Now, let's look at Oleksandr Usyk. Oleksandr Usyk comes in at number 3 for me. And the reason he comes in at number 3 is very clear. I mean, this man has won the Super 6 tournament. He's won the undisputed title at cruiserweight, and he's moved up and captured 3 world titles at heavyweight, beating Anthony Joshua. Now, he needs to fight Tyson Fury, but that fight seems unlikely because it looks like the Tyson Fury camp doesn't want the fight. It's not for the lack of trying. He's trying to get that fight, but it doesn't look like they want it. His ability to come into the heavyweight division without any kind of crazy tune-up or anything like that and go straight for an Anthony Joshua and then win in such a devastating fashion, or not devastating fashion, but such a dominant fashion in terms of skill, just shows how much levels he is above the rest. And then they redid it. They said, let's do it again, to see if you could pull this off. Was it luck? It wasn't luck. He was able to hold his own again and outbox Anthony Joshua. So that's super telling. I actually predict that Usyk would beat Tyson Fury if they were to fight, but we're going to have to wait and see. But him being undisputed, getting the Super 6, and also going up to heavyweight and beating a three belt champion in Anthony Joshua is no small feat. So we have to put him at number 3. Now we have Inoue. Inoue, my mans. Inoue has to go to number 2. It's not even a question in my mind. He has to be number 2. The reason is because he's done the things that I've said that Usyk has done, but he's also beaten better competition down there in the likes of Fulton, but he also beat Fulton in such a dominant fashion, more dominant than what Usyk did to Anthony Joshua, that you have no choice, in my opinion, but to put him in the top 2, somewhere in the top 2. Some people might have him number 1, and that's you could make the argument that he's number 1, but in my list, he's number 2 because he was undisputed at a division. He is starting to go into he's starting to fight now in a new division, and he's capturing belts there. He only has one more fight to become undisputed, which I think he's going to do, and he will become a multi-divisional undisputed. He also won the world championship, the Super 6 championship as well. So he's doing his thing, and he's dominating almost every fight. Now, he had a little bit of trouble with Nonito Donaire. A lot of people bring that up, but they did the rematch, and he blasted Nonito Donaire in the rematch and beat him by spectacular fashion. So he may have had an off night that first fight, but he ain't have the off night that second fight. Not only that, the Fulton domination was impressive. So it solidified him, in my opinion, number 2. He was actually number 1 for a few days after that fight. All right, let's go to Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez is number 5. Now, I'm gonna probably people are gonna say, wait a second, what are you talking about? He's number 5. Here's the truth. He was kind of not on my list after he lost to Kambosos. He wasn't, but he did the Sandor Martin fight. He didn't look good. He still wasn't on my list. He did the Josh Taylor fight. He proved why he's a pound for pound fighter. This man, people forget, but this man outboxed Lomachenko. It's not like the Devin Haney fight where it was close. He clearly won that fight against Lomachenko. Now, you could say his arm hurt and his shoulder hurt. I don't want to hear it. People say there's excuses all the time. Every fighter goes into fights with aches and pains here and there from training camp, right? It doesn't matter to me what happens. You either, especially if we've not heard about this before and then we hear it after the fight, I don't want to hear it. He beat Lomachenko by outsmarting Lomachenko, not in a close fight, in a fight that he clearly edged out, and also made sure to win that final round against Lomachenko. Not only that, he became undisputed in that division. I don't care what you guys say. Just because you want to use a technicality to say he didn't become undisputed, he beat the guy that had all the other belts, that won all the other belts in Lomachenko. Even if the WBC elevated him to franchise, he won the WBC title. So it's by no fault of Teofimo Lopez. He had nothing to do with the elevation to franchise. He ended up winning all of the belts, and he beat the guy who had all three belts, which was the remaining three that he needed to be undisputed. So miss me with any of that technicality stuff that you guys want to throw out there to try to discredit Teofimo Lopez. But then on top of that, he moves up to the 140 division and goes directly after the Josh Taylor, the person who was undisputed, who's never lost the titles in the ring, was just stripped of the titles due to inactivity, and beat him soundly, outboxed him, looked like Roy Jones Jr. at the highest level possible, which to me shows that he just had a very, very weird night against Kambosos, where he decided to try to get this one-punch knockout, where you could see that that's what he was trying to do. He wasn't fighting himself. He wasn't pinpoint accurate, doing different things, showing different angles, exploding from different locations in the ring. He was just trying to get the one punch, and that came back to bite him. But when he was given the level of competition of a Josh Taylor, he rose to the occasion. So I have to. He's not technically undisputed in two divisions, but he's in theory undisputed in two divisions because he beat the guy who took all the belts from everyone else. It's just he didn't do it on paper. But in theory, even if you want to remove the one that he did against Lomachenko, he basically won that one as well. He won all the belts as well because they elevated Lomachenko. Even if you don't want to give credit to the franchise belt, which to me doesn't make sense, it's like not giving credit to the super WBA belt and only caring about the regular WBA belt, because it's the same premise with that belt. But I digress. You got to give it to Teofimo Lopez. Beating Josh Taylor and Lomachenko on his resume as young as he is incredibly impressive. And that makes him number 5. He has to be number 5 because of those accomplishments. Now we have Terence Bud Crawford. And is it any secret where I'm going to put this man? Yeah, well, he missed the cut. All right. So now I'm just kidding. No. Before you listen, the pitchforks, put him down. I'm just a joke. He's number 1 after that amazing performance that he did against Errol Spence Jr. The man's on a press tour. He's on the greatest winning press tour I've ever seen in my life. On CBS in the morning, sitting in Charlemagne's chair on the Breakfast Club. The man is everywhere now because of that spectacular win. And not only was it a spectacular win because he beat the man that beat the Danny Garcias and Sean Porter. He fought Sean Porter, knocked Sean Porter out. He did a better performance against Sean Porter than Errol Spence. The dude beat Ugas, but he beat Errol Spence. He became undisputed for the first time in the 4-belt era. He was the first man to become undisputed in 2 divisions, and he became the first man to be undisputed in the 147-pound division, one of the more difficult divisions in the history of the sport. A lot of super fighters have fought in that division. Sugar Ray Robinson, right? Sugar Ray Leonard, right? Tommy Hearns, right? Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao. That 147 is such a powerful division historically, and it is no different now. And for him to be the first ever 4-belt undisputed within the 4-belt era at 147, and not only that, he's the only male to do it in 2 divisions, and he was the one to bring it back after Jermaine. What was this guy's? I forgot his name, but it's been many years since someone has become undisputed in the 4-belt era. Jermaine Taylor, there you go, Jermaine Taylor. He did it. He's the one that did it since Jermaine Taylor, and he brought it back. He brought back being the 4-belt undisputed champion. He brought that premise back to boxing, and started a chain reaction. He was the start of this. And in my opinion, when it's all said and done, or right now where we stand, he is the 4-belt era king. And of course, that beat down that he did at Errol Spence puts him at number 1. Now, some honorable mentions. We got Tyson Fury. To me, doesn't make the cut. Winning the WBC belt off of Deontay Wilder is not that powerful to me to put you on this list. Now, is he one of the best heavyweights? Yes, because he holds the WBC title. But guess what? Oleksandr Usyk holds all the other 3, which is even more powerful. And they'll have to fight for us to know where Tyson Fury really lands. He might be higher, but for right now, just because he beat Deontay Wilder is not, to me, not that strong. I think his swan song is beating Oleksandr Usyk if they ever fought. And unfortunately, Lomachenko has fallen off of this list for me. Is he great? Is he really good? Yes, but we have to look at the things that have happened. His fight with Ortiz was weird. He had a lot of trouble. He's lost to Teofimo Lopez by being outboxed, who's here number 5. He's lost to Devin Haney in a close fight, but he lost, and he's here at number 7. I can't imagine that he would be better than any of these other guys who have better accomplishments and have cleaned up their losses or have fought the best of the best of the best and lost to them. So to me, he's probably like number 11, but just off of the list of top 10. So if I was to do this here, I would do Lomachenko first, Tyson Fury, Artur Beterbiev, and Artur Beterbiev, Tyson Fury, and then Tank of the people that have missed the cut, that didn't make the cut. In terms of how I see the pound for pound rankings out there in the news media, I'm including them so that you guys understand why I didn't include them in the top 10. So here is my top 10 pound for pound Boxing Fanatico's pound for pound list of the best fighters in the world. Number 10, Jermell Charlo. Number 9, Errol Spence Jr. Number 8, Canelo Alvarez. Number 7, Devin Haney. Number 6, Shakur Stevenson. Number 5, Teofimo Lopez. Number 4, Dmitry Bivol. Number 3, Oleksandr Usyk. Number 2, Inoue. And number 1, Terence Crawford. Let me know what's your top 10 down in the comment section below. Let me know if I'm crazy. Is my top 10 list the worst that you've ever seen, or is it legit? Let me know down in the comment section below. And of course, as always, guys, we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.